takeover of NA from EU has been a big talking point in the Fortnite competitive scene recently, and today I'm going to be going over all of the duos and how recently in the tournament yesterday, the FNCS Round 4 finals, we had 3 of the top 4 players in the region be EU players. Pretty crazy. Make sure if you want to improve at Fortnite yourself, you check out the Destiny Jesus Solo Masterclass link in description. It's a one-time lifetime purchase and has coaching from the top pros in the world and gets updated every season. Let's get right into it. Our first and arguably our most content themed team is Clicks and Veno. We might be saying content themed when they first started coming together, as Clicks is pretty focused on competitive content and likes to stream all of the events. But to my surprise and to many others, Veno has actually started streaming events alongside him, and it seems to both want to stream events going into the future. And that could be really good, especially if they both stream grand finals. They've had an incredible season. They're 2 of the best fighters and are being coached by Blood X. They're currently landing snooty and their game plan looks very well planned out, and they also look like they are performing as a unit at the moment. They started off the season a little bit lopsided and a little bit misjointed when they're fighting. However, as the season has gone on, they've become better and better. They are on the grind right now, playing zone wars every single day against top tier pro players, and this is clearly paying off, as if we look at their FNCS placements this season, it is nothing short of incredible. You can see the shaky start to the season when they came 22nd in the Cash Cup. Likewise, in the second Cash Cup of the season, they also had a shaky start with a 20th in the Cash Cup, both times only earning $300 and gaining 1,100 PR. Coming to FNCS, they completely changed that around, coming first in round 1. Pretty wild, and they were first by a considerable amount as well, not even first by a couple points. They were first by almost 60 points. And this is where the start of the EU takeover comes over. In round 1, we had 4 of the top 6 players in the region being EU players, with Blanca and Mixon coming 2nd and Tayson and Nomo coming 3rd. In round 2, they didn't perform quite as well, coming 9th on the leaderboards, which is still very, very impressive. And in round 3 was the most impressive round yet, in my opinion, and they came at 32nd. You might be thinking, 32nd, that is not great at all. Well, you'd be pretty wrong, because they started off terribly, with a 24th, 36th, 36th, 28th, 12th, 33rd, and they were doing awfully. Then, Click stopped streaming, and the last 4 games was something of a miracle. An 11 kill second, a 16 kill second, a 17 kill second, and a 3 kill 7th. This put them all the way up into 32nd and allowed them to qualify. Incredible stuff. And of course, in round 4, the finals, we saw them win it all out with 3 wins out of 6, and they were heavily conned at Sandy Steps. They had teams landing all sides of them and were really scuffed off spawn a lot of the games, especially towards the later of the tournament. They won game 1 with 6 kills, won game 2 with 5 kills, then had a 13th, and then won game 4. They were on an absolute tear at this point. Unfortunately, they had a bad one then. As I said, off spawn was pretty rough for them, having a 43rd after that, and then it came 11th to finish it off. Clicks and Veno are definitely on everyone's radar this season, after originally with the top 20s in the Cash Cup but not being on the radar. They are completely on it, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in grand finals. But moving on to our second duo, which is Tayson and Nomo. Obviously, Tayson coming from EU, this is a pretty big team by all standards. And again, they did not start off great. In the first Cash Cup, they came 3rd in round 1, but 18th in round 2. Pretty much identical to where Clicks and Veno placed, earning $300 and 1,100 PR. In the second Cash Cup, they brought it back heavily. They came 3rd in round 1 and 1st in round 2, earning $2,500 and also 2,000 PR. This was clearly where they fixed their game plan, they fixed their mistakes, and Tayson really likes playing with the Nomo, so this is a really good team. In round 1 FNCS, they came 3rd. In round 2 FNCS, they came 54th, so obviously not the greatest performance for them, but still pretty impressive and enough to qualify. In round 3, they came 2nd, which is amazing, because top 50 qualify, so this was the hardest round probably of all, and they managed to come 2nd in it. And finally, in round 4, they came 4th. That is a 2nd, 3rd and 4th from 4 of their FNCS rounds, and this is why they're a top team this season. They have some of the best rotates I've ever seen, and actually Destiny Jesus made a video on them, and their rotates are actually wild, I can't even lie. Mixon and Blaha are a team that have moved from over EU. Mixon actually competed in NA Central last season and came a pretty respectable top 15 in the grand finals. He was playing with Paco though, and he doesn't even normally play with Paco. So how was he going to do with Blaha, someone he actually placed top 5 in EU Grands with in previous seasons? We were again really not disappointed. In the first Cash Cup, again we possibly were disappointed. They came over for the second Cash Cup of the season only, and they came 34th in round 2, earning $150. So really not great from them. However, they must have really turned on the heat for this FNCS because they started it off with a bang. A second in round 1, they then came 89th in round 2, which obviously, like Tayson and Nomo, was not the best place. In round 3, the hardest round, they came 7th, which is incredible, and in round 4, yesterday, they came 2nd. Second only Clicks and Veno. They secured that the top 1 and 2, 3 of the top 4 players were all EU players that had moved over to NA. This is pretty wild, as I don't think NA were expecting EU players to do so well in their region. But here we are, and I hope it continues, because sue me, I'm an EU player. They played super well in round 4, they didn't even have a win. They came 22nd with 1 kill. A 3-kill Knight, a 2-kill 4th, a 5-kill 5th, a 5-kill 4th, and a 1-kill 18th. Incredibly consistent gameplay there. A player I did not expect to be doing so well without Mixon is Paco. Paco and Mixon came top 15 last FNCS, and then he moved and started playing with Freektiker. He was originally going to play with Pump in the first year of Cash Cup, but did pretty awfully, placing 5,000, so he then switched to Freektiker. He's placed pretty solidly so far. He came top 14 in the finals of the Duo Cash Cup, which obviously isn't the greatest placement ever, but FNCS he really turned on the heat. Round 1 was not the greatest, coming 37th. Round 2 was better though, like a lot better, coming 2nd in round 2, the round that most of these pros actually struggled on. Then coming 4th in round 3, with the hardest round, and then coming 32nd in round 4. This might not be the greatest placement, but allows a round 4 to get a lot of series points and hopefully qualify for hires this season. If we can have a 100% qual rate from our EU teams, then that would be absolutely wild on NA. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed so far, and pop in code JKC because we have still 3 more teams to talk about from EU that have moved to NA. The big Mongraal and Savage have moved to NA in an incredible announcement video, and I'm very impressed with how they've been playing recently. Super impressed. They are getting to be a pretty consistent team by all levels. Not quite a top level team yet, but Mongraal has improved so much this season, and they could definitely place well at FNCS. In the first year of Cash Cup they didn't make finals. In the second one they came top 15 in finals. In FNCS they qualified through round 1 placing 15th, a very respectable placement. In round 2 they qualified through placing 24th, higher than a lot of the top tier pros we've already mentioned. And in round 3 they did not qualify to round 4, placing 72nd. They did get griefed a little bit coming into off spawn, however, super impressive performance still. A round 3 both weeks still secures a lower bracket placement, or if they get a high for round 4 next week, they could actually still get a higher bracket. I want Mongraal and Savage to do well. They're working so hard, and Mongraal is grinding zone wars so hard. He deserves this, and we hope, for EU's sake, that Mongraal and Savage do not disappoint. And even if they do, the content is still wonderful, I can't lie. Quite an underrated player from EU that none of us knew moved over, well, barely anyone apart from the really competitive players that really look in the game. However, Kylie actually moved from EU to NA. Kylie used to be the biggest scrim grinder at EU, playing every single scrim, but it's recently kind of dropped off recently, I don't know. Don't take it too personally, Kylie, but you're not the best we could have sent over. Even so, we all ate up our words when the first 2 duo cash ups of the season ended in 5th and 5th from Kylie and Vert. These are the finals placements, by the way. Top 5 both finals, and at FNCS they did slip off the pace a little bit. However, we are still looking at a solid performance. If they can make finals, I have full confidence that they're going to do well. They came 403rd in round 1, making it round 2, 123rd in round 2, making it to round 3. They came 52nd in round 3, missing the qual by 2 places. Pretty wild, and I'm a little bit disappointed for them. But the same with Mongraal and Savage, they can for sure get round 4 next week and place well, therefore securing himself a higher bracket position in the series points leaderboard. So who is the final team? This final team consists of 1 EU player and 1 NA player. This NA player is the FNCS Land Champion. It is Meo, and he is playing with Pink. Pink coming over to NA was pretty crazy, and I don't think it is predictable in the slightest. They came 22nd in their first Euro Cash Cup, which is obviously not the greatest at all. They did come first in round 1 though. Coming to FNCS, they came 26th in round 1, 422nd in round 2, and 21st in round 3, making it to round 4 over the hardest round. In round 4 they performed best yet, coming 7th, and that is how we ended up with the stat in round 4. 4 of the top 7 teams on NA had EU players in them, one of which was a full EU duo. You can see the thing here, it's in paint now, so obviously the EUs, that's my bad guys. Anyway, that's a super interesting stat. Those are all the EU teams or EU players that have moved over to NA. Let me know what you think of this whole type arc we've got going on in the comment section, and which of these teams you think are going to place well in FNCS. Make sure you watch the video on screen right now and check out the Masterclass link in description. Have a wonderful day, guys.